Okay, so now I am sharing the link, and I will open up a page myself. So there it is. That is my lab. That's what I call it, my lab web page. And here you can see a content type which is called Sort the Paragraphs, and it was funded by Sunny English. It's a cool name, I think. JustAskSunny.com is the company that funded it. And as I said, they wanted to have that because they need that themselves. And they didn't mind if the whole world gets this content type. So here it is. Just one thing, it still has one minor glitch on mobile devices when you, yeah, maybe you don't even notice it. But if you do, it will be fixed in Flash. So here it is. What can you do with it? So maybe you need some like sorting exercise. I just did a small example where you have the lyrics of Ace of Spades, and you have to bring them in the correct order. And okay, they are correct already, so that's stupid. Let's reload the page so we get a new. That is more interesting. So let's say we have to sort that one, and so how would you do that? Ideally, you would of course click here, and you could sort the phrases. And if you think it is correct, now let's make it. Oh, it's wrong anyway. But let me do that a little different. Maybe I'll put that here, and I'll put that one here. And now that's the way I want to have it. Let's say that are the lyrics of Ace of Spades, and I click on check. And if you know the lyrics, you know these two are correct in the correct position, but these two are not. And in this first mode, which is called like the transition mode, it doesn't count the positions of the phrases, because that wouldn't make much sense if you want to score that, because by misplacing one item you could get a score of 0, although the order in general is correct. So in this case it counts just the transition. So this one is the first one, and the correct successor of that one is this one, so this will get 1 point. And yeah, well, these are wrong because these are in the wrong order. And well, you don't get a point for that, but you also don't get a penalty, because that wouldn't make much sense if you want to have like the correct order. And then there's a second mode, which I demonstrated down here, which doesn't have these arrows. And yeah, this one I thought could be interesting for like computer science, where you have to create an algorithm. And if you want to check that automatically, of course you can have like these I don't know how they're called. There are engines that can check code and if it works. But let's say you want to see if people know how to create an insert sort algorithm. You could do that here. So again, you could rearrange the things until you think it's correct. And you see this doesn't have the arrows, because here it might make more sense to really count the correct positions, because if it's in the wrong order, then the algorithm doesn't work. So the positions are really important, not just the other bits and pieces, but that's up to you to decide. And now it might be interesting to decide should you get penalties or not. So here you can choose, should a wrong answer, a wrong position get a penalty. And I think it's activated here, so let's just check it. I guess that will be, yeah, it will be a score of 0. So as you can see. And here it will also, here you see +1, -1, so penalties are applied. And I'll answer the question in a second. Yeah, you could deactivate the penalties as well, and I'll retry. Now you see, you may wonder, okay, you can drag and drop, but you also have these buttons, so you can use those, because they have basically 2 purposes, or maybe even 3. First of all, it might be easier if you have an item and you know where it's going to be. If you click on the buttons and just put it in the right direction, might be quicker. Second thing is it's for mobile use. So what was the content? I think it's drag the words, where you can have a problem on mobile devices, where if you have very long text and you want to drag a word to the top or the bottom maybe, and you would have to scroll, and that doesn't work because H5P lives in an iframe and it can't scroll, so you can't actually drag the words in the correct position. And I wanted to avoid that in the first place because as you saw up here, these can become quite large in height, so you wouldn't be able to drag and drop the things. So I added the buttons, and on mobile devices, drag and drop is deactivated completely. It doesn't work at all. You have to use the buttons, but yeah, they work. What was my third thing? I forgot, but there was a third reason. So it might be interesting to learn why I did it in some way or the other. So the question was, what are the criteria for checking the correct placement? Is it the number of the individual card, or does it actually look at the content? The number of the card. I don't know. What do you mean the number of the card? So if you, yeah, maybe it's easier here. So if you check the position here, you would. Oh, I see. Yeah, now I get it. It's really the position. So if you are in that mode, even if you had like a sequence correct, like let's have a correct sequence down here, like that would be the start actually. So let's put that here, and the next one would be this. So if I had that here, and technically the order would be correct, but in this case it doesn't make much sense to use that as a score, because even if that is correct, it doesn't work. The algorithm is wrong. So but it's up to you to decide. In my opinion, it doesn't make too much sense to like count the numbers as you saw, but it's really the position. So this one has to be up here on top, and this one would have to be here. So it really counts these positions. Okay. Oh, Matthias, hi. This nice idea to ask students about the procedure of network calculation algorithms like nodal logic. I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure good if you can use it for that. It's always nice for barrier free and accessible use to offer different ways of. Yeah, definitely. That's yeah, that is why actually I described that in the text. But if you see that, you may think these buttons are quite large, but on touch devices they barely have the correct size of they really have the minimum size that is suggested for accessible buttons. So that's a compromise that you will have to live with. Or you can, of course, H5P is great. You can always override the CSS if you think the buttons are too big. You just have to change. What would it be? 3 lines of CSS, one for the width, one for the height, and one for the. I know that for the container in here, and you can make the button smaller if you want to. When you have an order questions where 2 items have the same content, you don't know. Yeah, that's true. Yep. If you have a solution for that, I know that could happen here. For example, if you have like and while, that's why I used the indentation to differentiate them. So these, of course, they have the same text basically. Yeah. Of course, I could add some. Yeah, maybe I'll add that. I'm not sure. Of course, I could try to check the text. That could work if it's really the same and you don't use like bold text. Yeah, it's a good idea. I have to think about that. Yeah, but actually, this is like a side case. Is the right word? Yeah, it's not really the right word. It's not the actual use case that Sony intended was this one here, where you have phrases of text and you have to bring them in the correct order where you don't have identical things. But you're right. That should be changed maybe. Yeah, pretty useful idea. Thank you. Yeah. But it's a good idea. That should be done in the next version. Yeah, so that was one. Let me know if you think it's useful. Maybe you have some more use cases. So Matthias has a great one, I think. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Nodal voltage analysis. And if you find the glitch on mobile, tell me. Yeah, so as I said, it's just a small content type, nothing huge like um, oh, what's it called? I don't know. One of the huge one would be, of course, like interactive video. That would be like a huge content type. And just a hint, if you want to watch the recording of the OER Hub, it also features a demonstration of the content type that I found last time and could only show by pictures, by images, because I don't have the option to run it in real. But Sventura demonstrated it. So that was a cool feedback content type that you can use with the new API that H5P has. So what you need to implement to get that functionality to have an either or. Oh yeah, Jake. Well, my thought was just I could check the text, and it's like right now I just check the positions of the draggables, but if there are identical ones, I could just check if there are identical ones and if those are the correct position. So that wouldn't be too difficult, I guess. I would have to look at it, but yeah, then in that case you would not really have more than one possibility. You just rule out identical or yeah, false positives, or no, it's false negatives in that way. But or maybe I got you wrong. Oh, you want to have different, or you want to have more than one right sequence. I guess that would work as well, but what would the use case be? That would be interesting for me to know. The other question, does the new content type give feedback in the form of a little text? So you want to have feedback if like in multiple choice questions, if that is wrong, add some explanatory text. No, that's not in there, but it could be in there. But again, this was just the contract work, so that is the way it's supposed to work for Sony. And now it's open source. So if you want to have that feature, find someone who can create it for us. I may pick that up myself when I find some time. Yeah, but I can't promise it. So, but yeah, that would work, of course. Like, if this was wrong, you might want to let the people know why that is wrong. Yeah, that should be in there, probably. So what else? Drag the words activity works on mobile if you click and drop the words into the box. Yeah, that works, of course, but most people don't do that, so they try to drag it and it doesn't work. There's kind of always a workaround. But it's not only there, it's also in, I think it's also image sequencing that has this problem. So if you have too many images, you can't drag them, and yeah, I guess it also works if you click on it, then scroll, then click on the other one, but that's like not the intuitive way that people use it, I guess. So it's still kind of a problem, and I try to prevent